Overthinking, a single word that can steal your peace, disturb your sleep, weaken your confidence, and drain your energy. Today, I want to take you on a deep journey inside your own mind, where you will understand why overthinking happens, what psychology says about it, and how you can stop it instantly. This is not just information, this is healing. So listen calmly, let every line settle gently in your heart, and allow your mind to slow down as you hear these words. Overthinking does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you are broken. It simply means your mind has learned a habit of repeating the same thoughts again and again. Each time you think about something with fear or worry, the brain assumes it is important, so it repeats it. This is why overthinking feels like a loop that never ends, a loop that keeps you stuck. Your brain's first goal is survival, not happiness. So it constantly looks for danger, even when there is no danger, even when everything is fine. Your mind creates what if situations. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if things don't work out? The brain does this because it thinks overthinking is protecting you, but in reality, it is hurting you. Psychology says that overthinking begins with three core emotions: fear, uncertainty, and lack of control. When you fear losing something, you overthink. When you do not know what will happen next, you overthink. When you cannot control the outcome, your mind tries to force clarity by thinking more. But thinking more never gives clarity, it only creates more confusion. Inside the mind, there are cognitive distortions, invisible filters that twist reality. These distortions make you believe thoughts like, I am not enough, something will go wrong, I can't do this, people won't like me, or I always make mistakes. These thoughts are not facts. They are old wounds speaking through the mind. Overthinking is also connected to past experiences. If you were criticized as a child, you may overthink every decision as an adult. If you were betrayed, your mind may overthink every relationship. If you failed once, your brain may replay that memory repeatedly. These memories create a fear based pattern. The mind thinks it is protecting you by replaying the pain, but it is actually stopping you from moving forward. Another psychological phenomenon behind overthinking is analysis paralysis. This happens when the mind becomes so overwhelmed with thoughts that it stops you from taking action. You think so much that you end up doing nothing. You replay every possibility, every outcome, every scenario, and still feel unsure. The more you think, the harder the decision becomes. Spiritually, overthinking is a sign of disconnection from yourself. When the mind gets louder than the soul, life feels heavy. When inner peace is lost, the outside world feels threatening. When intuition is blocked, fear becomes your guide. Overthinking is not just a mental issue, it is an emotional and spiritual imbalance. Overthinking also drains your energy. You feel tired even when you haven't done anything. This is because mental energy is the most powerful energy your body uses. A single hour of overthinking can exhaust you more than a full day of physical work. This is why people who overthink often feel sleepy, irritated, or mentally heavy. Now, let us talk about attachment. You only overthink about things you care deeply about. You overthink about people you love, relationships you fear losing, goals you want to achieve, or situations that emotionally matter to you. Attachment magnifies thoughts. The stronger the attachment, the louder the overthinking. A beautiful psychological truth says that 91% of the things you worry about never happen. The mind imagines danger, but that danger usually does not exist. The fear is real, but the situation is not. Now let's go into how to stop overthinking instantly, not slowly, not gradually, instantly. The first technique is the 5-second pause. When your mind starts a thought loop, immediately say silently, stop. Then take a deep breath and count from 5 to 1. When you reach 1, shift your focus to something physical. Walk, stretch, drink water, look around. This interrupts the cycle and breaks the mental loop. The second technique is naming the thought. Instead of drowning inside the thought, observe it from a distance. Say to yourself, this is a worry thought, this is a fear thought, this is a future thought, this is a past thought. When you label a thought, it loses its emotional power. It becomes just a thought, not a threat. The third technique is grounding. Bring your attention back to the present moment. Feel your breath. Notice the chair under you. Observe the sensations in your body. Look at an object around you. When your senses activate, your mind comes out of the future and returns to now. Anxiety lives in the future. Peace lives in the present. The fourth technique is writing. When a thought becomes too heavy, write it down. Writing creates distance between you and the thought. Once it is on paper, the brain stops repeating it. Your mind becomes lighter because the thought is no longer inside your head. The fifth technique is reducing decisions. Many people overthink because they face too many choices every day. Reduce unnecessary decisions, create routines, make small choices automatic. This gives space to your mind and reduces clutter. Another powerful question you can ask yourself is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it is hurting you, let it go. If it is helping you, continue. This question helps the mind understand which thoughts matter and which do not. Now let us talk about emotional healing. Overthinking is often a sign of unhealed wounds. Maybe someone hurt you deeply. Maybe someone abandoned you. Maybe life broke your trust. Maybe you faced rejection. These experiences create fear inside the mind. The mind thinks overthinking will prevent future pain. But actually, overthinking creates more pain. To heal, you must allow yourself to feel. You must give yourself permission to let go. Healing begins when you stop fighting thoughts and start understanding them. Ask yourself, what is this thought trying to protect me from? Many times, the thought carries a hidden fear. Once you understand the fear, the thought loses power. Now let us talk about control. Overthinking happens when we try to control everything. But the truth is, control is an illusion. You cannot control what people think. You cannot control the future. You cannot control every outcome. Peace begins when you accept that not everything is in your hands. A powerful way to release control is to focus on what you can control: your actions, your efforts, your mindset, your response. When you give attention to what you can control, your mind becomes calm. When you focus on what you cannot control, your mind becomes chaotic. Another deep truth is that overthinking ends when self trust begins. When you trust your decisions, your mind stops creating unnecessary possibilities. When you trust yourself, doubt becomes silent. When you trust life, fear reduces. Overthinking is loud when self trust is low. Now let us go deeper into brain science. The brain has something called the default mode network. This part becomes active when you are not doing anything. It creates random thoughts, memories, and imagined scenarios. When this network becomes overactive, you experience overthinking. The way to silence it is through presence. Engage in activities that bring you into the present moment. Walking, cleaning, listening to music, deep breathing, drawing, or doing small tasks. These activities turn off the default mode network. Now let us explore the spiritual side. Overthinking is a sign that you are living too much in the mind and too little in the heart. When the mind dominates, life feels confused. When the heart leads, life feels peaceful. Your heart already knows the truth. Your soul already knows the path. But the mind keeps creating noise. To reconnect with yourself, try this simple practice. Place your hand on your chest and breathe slowly. Tell yourself, I choose peace. I let go. I trust myself. I trust life. These words send a signal to your subconscious mind. They align your energy. They calm your inner world. Remember, thoughts are like clouds. They come and go. You are not the cloud, you are the sky. The sky never gets disturbed by passing clouds. In the same way, you are not disturbed by thoughts when you understand that they are temporary. Now let us talk about the future. Most overthinking comes from trying to predict the future. But no one in the world has ever saved themselves by worrying. Worrying is like running on a treadmill. You feel tired, but you go nowhere. The future will unfold whether you worry or not. So instead of fearing the future, prepare for it. Instead of overthinking it, trust yourself to handle it. Now let us talk about the past. Many people overthink about mistakes, regrets, or moments that hurt them, but the past cannot hurt you unless you relive it in your mind. The past is over. What you learn from it still remains. What pain it caused does not need to stay. You cannot change what happened, but you can change what you carry. Let us talk about relationships. Overthinking destroys communication. It makes you assume instead of asking. It makes you imagine problems instead of understanding them. When you feel confused, communicate. When you feel hurt, express. When you feel doubtful, ask. Communication reduces overthinking. Now let us talk about detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop forcing. It means you stop expecting the world to behave a certain way. Detachment brings freedom. Attachment creates fear. When you detach from the outcome, your mind becomes peaceful. Now let us talk about self-worth. People who overthink often feel they are not good enough. They seek validation. They fear judgment. They fear rejection. But let me remind you, you are enough. You deserve rest. You deserve clarity. You deserve peace. Now, let us end with one powerful technique. Sit quietly, close your eyes, breathe deeply, inhale peace, exhale worry, feel your body relax. Tell yourself, I am safe. I am calm. I choose clarity. I choose peace. Let these words sink into your subconscious mind. Let them become your inner truth. Overthinking is not stronger than you, it is simply a habit. And habits can be changed. You have the power to interrupt your thoughts. You have the power to guide your mind. You have the power to choose peace. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness watching them. Take a deep breath. Let go. Trust yourself. Trust life. And remember, the mind creates noise, but the soul creates silence. Choose silence. Choose peace. Choose yourself.